Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into another episode of The Kevin Show. It is we're gonna have a real good time because today I'm talking to a completely fictional character who is not actually fictional at all. I'm talking to my good friend and fellow author and business partner, Roland Denzel. That's not Denzel, that's Denzil. And we're gonna talk about why. So, but first, you gotta watch this. Could I be any more narcissistic? Look at that. There's so many Kevins on that screen. But this is somebody who's not a Kevin, my good friend Roland. Hey man, how you
But we're
doing?
doing this on video?
This is a video thing. What did you think we were going to do here? So,
Kidding. I'm doing great.
anybody joining? This is completely unscripted, unprepared. We have no idea what we're doing. But I would like to welcome my good friend Roland, who is a fellow author. And I always struggle with what the other aspect of your business, which is like you're not like a fitness coach. How do you describe yourself?
I
I've been
would
doing
say I would say health coach. So I help people primarily with nutrition, weight loss, and habit building. So I'm not like an extreme diet coach. Like you don't have to do anything like super crazy. My goal is to help people get healthy, get fit, and then keep it there for life. So I grew up overweight. My first 35 years, 17 years ago, you can do the math, figure out how old I am. About 17 years ago, I lost 110 pounds and I've kept it off ever since. Got super passionate about it and got passionate enough to learn the nutrition behind it and all the habit forming and coaching. And now I help people do that.
I did know that about you. I've seen the photos, so you can prove it. 100 pounds is a lot, man. It's just a ridiculous. That's like a whole other human being.
Yeah.
I keep thinking. Yeah. So when you go in and you understand what I'm talking about. We've talked about this before. You go to like a doctor or somebody, and then they have this chart that, based on your age, your height, and other factors, they tell you should weigh this. So you're obese or morbidly obese because you don't weigh this. The number they give me, I literally have not weighed since I was in like 7th grade. Every time.
Yeah.
I would be this thin if I weighed that amount. Like literally.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I was, I'm 6'1", and I went down to, I was like around 300. I went down to like 165, and I was super skinny. So 6'1", 165 is pretty skinny, and worked my way back. I started lifting weights and worked my way back up to where, so I'm not 110 pounds now, lighter than I was then. But by the time I got done, I was like, wow, I'm really skinny. Let's add some weight on as far as muscle goes. So I got back up over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And I went to the doctor once, and like you can hear them looking at your chart on the outside of the door. Right? He's flipping papers, and and then he comes in and he looks at me. He goes, "Oh, never mind." I go, "No, what were you going to say?" And he goes, "Well, I was about to have the talk with you about how you need to lose weight."
But now I think you need to eat a cheeseburger.
No, it was like when I was over 200 again. Like I was muscular. So he's like, "Oh," and like I lucked out because I had a doctor who also lifted weights. So, he had, a lot of muscle on him as well. So it was not, he understood. Yeah. So he said, he goes, "I am overweight by the BMI charts as well." And we both said that we secretly wanted to become obese again, but at least based on those charts.
Based on okay. I want to reach an unhealthy weight according to that chart.
Exactly.
Yeah. We got people popping in. Let's say hello. Let's see who's saying hello here from YouTube. Ashap. Do you know Ashap?
Nope.
I don't know Ashap. Functional health is what
Yes,
you're reading.
functional health. Yes, that's right.
I
That's a
like
good
it.
one. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Laura says hello from the Yoop. Hello from the Yoop. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to roll with it. And let's see. Debbie. Hey, Debbie from howdy from B County. So Brazoria County, where I was born and raised here in South Texas. And my buddy
Nice.
here, Brian Worrell. Wow, Kevin, you keep popping up. I'm like a bad penny. I always turn up. I stole that line from Indiana Jones, and I'm never giving it back.
What does that mean?
Bad penny, when you're digging for change and you need to pay for something, you get a bad penny, and it always seems to be or a bad quarter or whatever, and it always seems to be the one coin in your pocket you end up picking up.
Great. Well, you find so much change in the ground, you probably have a lot of bad pennies.
I do find a lot of change in the ground. You've seen this saga, right? For the past few years, once a year, I count up all the lost or found change that I've gotten, and everywhere I go, because I travel a lot, so everywhere I go, I like to explore the city. And one of my hobbies is what I call a money walk, where I'm walking around just looking for any money I find. And I past 2 years in a row, it's been like, $65, $75, and it's pretty impressive. And sometimes it's bills too. It's not just coins. I find a lot of that stuff. Okay, so the Yoop, that would be Upper Peninsula in Michigan. Michigan, man, you guys are getting hit hard in Michigan. So stay healthy, stay safe. The Yoop, I'm going to use that in a book at some point.
I like that.
You like
That's some local flavor.
Local color. Oh, my friend Kayla is on. Glad to be watching live again. Thank you, Kayla. We always miss you. I always miss you when you're not around to comment. Seeing if YouTube works better for me than Facebook. So far, so good. If you have not tried this out on YouTube, I'd appreciate a subscribe. So pop over there. It's youtube.com/Kevin Tomlinson. So. Got another comment from Bryn. Enjoy your show. Watching from Southern California.
Hey, that's where I'm from. I've been in Colorado.
So
Colorado about the last year, but I grew up in Southern California.
Have you? Has it been that long? You've been in Colorado? I keep thinking like you guys moved there like 3 months ago.
It'll be a year next month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just had my first winter ever.
Are you still getting snow?
We had snow about a week last weekend. I think it was the first one where it was all gone. So we could still have another one. Last year we had one on May 5th. Snow on May 5th. Yeah. It was 80 on Friday, and then like Sunday it snowed.
That's unreal to me though.
I know.
Because in Texas by May, your sweat is sweating in Texas. Greetings from New Jersey. And we got hello from Venice, Florida, not Italy, which is probably good for you, actually, Kathleen. And I have family who have a vacation home in Venice, so I've gotten to hang out there. And we actually took the RV there one Thanksgiving and hung out for about a week there. So it's nice. It's really nice. And got my wife on that whole, like, I want to live here. And I'm like, I want to make, the several $1 million a year it would take to live here. Actually, there's plenty of affordable spaces over there, but the house she wants, I'm going to have to make more money, man.
Does Venice, Florida have canals? I
don't know. Kathleen, does Venice have canals? Let us know. Hey, Pete, Tampa Bay, Florida, also not for Italy. Good deal, man.
Beautiful Tampa.
I don't know if we're going to get to hang out. If I'm going to get to hang out with Pete this year. Hopefully, Nink doesn't get canceled. For the non-writers who are watching, Nink or Novelist Inc. is one of the conferences that I go to each year. So,
what month is it?
It is in September, I think. I gotta double check. It's been a while. My whole conference going schedule has just been screwed.
Oh yeah,
COVID.
I don't go to very many conferences, but I got my eye on one in October. I'm hoping that one's going to make it. But yeah,
Are you going?
Oh, it's November.
To,
November.
November. Is that the Vegas one? 20 bucks.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fun though. I've enjoyed going to that. I don't know if my lungs do not appreciate going to Vegas.
Yeah, I'm a little durable in that area, but I was reading last night about like the Frankfurt Book Fair. Do you know how many people go there?
Yeah.
300,000 people.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense though.
That's just crazy.
Is Frankfurt, I mean, I don't want to get into publishing talk because then this shifts the purpose of distracting people. But is Frankfurt like a publishing mecca, I guess? Because I just never think of it that way.
I don't know. Is London a publishing mecca?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like New York.
Maybe.
London is a lot like Manhattan, really. From what I understand. Kathleen says all of Florida has canals. How else would they drain the swamp? There you go.
Yeah.
And Asap, who says that you have to pronounce both P's, he's asking you which day of the week is your favorite for tacos, Roland?
Oh, well, Tuesday is just a reminder, but I legitimately could have tacos every day.
I know, me too.
Yeah, it's I was listening to a podcast, Brene Brown. I don't know if you listen. No, right?
Yeah.
So her daughter apparently has some like a gluten problem and recently diagnosed, like really severe. And so they bought a bunch of corn tortillas and non-gluten tortillas. And just like during the pandemic quarantine, they're just like having tacos like every day. And then her kids are young enough, they're like, well, like somebody said Taco Tuesday. They're like, what is this Taco Tuesday? Every day is Taco Tuesday here. So
time no longer exists. That's my observation. It was bad enough before the pandemic, but now everyone has joined me in this sort of haze about what day of the week it is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nobody knows anymore. How are you guys doing? So you moved to Colorado, and you're like me. You work from home, so you don't have to report anywhere. Your wife also, although she travels quite a bit, but right now
she was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she travels a lot for her education. She's an emotional eating coach, a somatic experience practitioner, a trauma therapist. So she would go to a lot of conferences and host events, like put on little workshops in sort of remote like not remote areas, but remote compared to here, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a lot of that's online, but most of our stuff was a lot of it. Like most of my coaching has already been online anyway. So this whole switch to Zoom, I had a head start. And the biggest change for us is that even though we were both in the house, like most of the time, both working from home, is that when one of us needed sort of a break, we would go to a coffee shop, just like for a change of scenery, change of mindset, and that can't really happen. So we're like, oh, we're going to go to a different room, So
I know I've had the same issue because. And one of the things, I think you and I have talked about this, or I've brought it up at some point. Like one of the things I'll do when I know I'm going to be stuck at home for a while, like I know I've got a whole bunch of live streams or something, so I can't really leave. I will, I go on YouTube and I find like cafe sounds, like, people chattering or whatever. And here's what I've noticed, and it's a weird, quirky thing. But a lot of times there will be someone in that cafe who it's mumble, 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 and then you'll hear very crisp and clear, Kevin, And one of them that I listen to, there's
back
a waitress.
To narcissism.
I'm just saying it's the reality. And it freaked me out the first time. And then there's this one that I listen to where it's like this sassy barista who says, fine, be that way, Kevin. Bye, Kevin. It's really bizarre.
I would love to have that one, but
you're not going to hear a lot of roll.
No.
Which we're going to talk about. We need to talk about your name in just a second.
But what I get is because I do the cafe sounds too. Like I have noise canceling headphones, it kind of helps. But then ironically, even when I'm at a cafe, I'll pipe in other cafe sounds to cover up the actual discussions of the people nearby. So like sounds
Right.
cancel out the sounds, right? But some of the sounds are like they're on a loop, and even the
You
apps,
start
they
to
loop,
recognize.
but
Yeah.
it's not long enough, right?
Yeah.
The loop is not long enough, and it's too distinctive. There's like a sound of like, oh, this person's dropping a dish. You're like, why
Yeah.
they even have that in the recording is beyond me, right? It's too distinctive.
Yeah.
Or somebody's like, like somebody does that, and the thing, I'm like, okay, so it's getting ready to flip over again because the guy just
Right.
sighed
When
again.
it's coming.
Yeah.
I just want to say hi to my buddy Hank, who is in Wisconsin at the moment. He's one of these people who's out making sure we all get our stuff. So thanks, Hank. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. So one of the ones I listen to, there's this one bit where a guy apparently has walked in, stood in front of a table and says, "Hey," and then exactly like that, right? Hey. So I'll hear that, and I know the loop has just started over. But I have to. So what the bad part is, once I identify the loop, I can't listen to the thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's fine. It's the same stuff over and over again, but there'll be that one thing. Hey, and then I'm done. Like I can't listen to it anymore.
Yep.
Time no longer exists. My boss tried to get us amped up about a Friday, and we were all just, oh wow, we forgot it was Friday. Who knew that was coming? That's a side effect of the apocalypse nobody saw coming. Kayla, yes, do this. Record our sounds at work so you can get all your needs filled. Do it. I would love to have like a custom, but you're gonna have to get like 10 hours of audio for this to really work.
Just put your phone on record and stick it in your pocket and go about your day. It'd be like the ambient Star Trek sounds,
right?
The Enterprise engine room sounds.
Did you? So I used to have back when I still used Windows, back when they still had like floppy disks. The first one of the first CD-ROMs I owned was the Star Trek or the virtual tour of the Enterprise. And you could actually move through. It was actually pretty advanced for its time, but it included this looping soundtrack of the Enterprise engine noise and the beeps and all the sound effects. Yeah. So I recorded all that onto a tape so that I could play it while I was driving because it made me feel like I was in space.
Interesting. I had a thing in remember when they had replacement desktops for Windows? So it was like around the time when you could buy a lot of screensavers, right?
Okay.
So this was a Star Trek screensaver and desktop replacement. So it was just like a shell on top of, right? So it was like Enterprise consoles and all that kind of stuff. And you could do like menus to launch applications and all that stuff. But you also turn on the sounds. Like you could just turn on the sounds and it would like the engine room would go or the ding, ding, ding. Yeah. So those were just wave files. So I would just like figure out where they were and just, put them on loops and stuff like that.
And now you can probably find an entire YouTube channel that is nothing but those sounds. I love YouTube. I use YouTube for everything. It's what makes me. It's like it's the Packlet of my life. It makes me go. And if you got that joke, you really are a Star Trek fan. So, okay,
there's the guys that are like so and so at the wall with the.
Your Packlets.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Can you make us go? Can you make us go?
They're my favorite Star Trek aliens, flat out. But somehow they were a threat.
You are smart. We look for things to make us go.
My flat out favorite. Okay, I don't want us to run out of time before we talk about this, but your name is Roland Denzel. I
forget how to pronounce it now.
Yeah, I know. I have a character in my books named Roland Denzel. That is how you pronounce it.
Well, it really
but
comes down to how does he pronounce it?
he pronounced it Denzel. He pronounces it Denzel. You know what's funny though?
Did you ask him?
I've had certain people. I have asked him, and he told me with a gun in his hand.
Excellent.
There are certain people who just assume he's black, which I think is interesting because I've
Because
never
of Denzel
given
Washington.
him, that's got to be what it is. Now, I'm not saying he's not black. I'm just saying I never specified his race. So if that makes people comfortable, but to me it's interesting because it seems like it's a stereotype kind of thing. So I'm not uncomfortable about that at all, but I do think it's interesting.
I don't know if anybody before they meet me assumes I'm black, but they often ask me if I'm related to Denzel Washington.
Which I do think is interesting since that is not his last name.
Correct. Yeah. And I always just say, I wish he was going to be leaving me some money.
Yeah. So Brian's asking what's good for dinner. This is an actual question my wife is asking me. What's good for dinner, Roland? Tacos. Hey, where have you been all day, Brian?
Tacos.
And Nick Thacker says
tacos are very versatile.
Yeah,
anything could be a taco.
So,
Except for poop.
Nick, I wasn't going to call you out, Nick, but I'm going to let everyone guess what he's referring to by whom me. So, hey, Kevin, what's in the cup? It ain't coffee. I'm just going to leave it at that. Probably not what anybody thinks either.
Chaga.
So here we go. Brian's he's still on what's for dinner. Like we're here to plan your meals for you, Brian.
Sounds good. No, he wants to know what sounds good, not what's good to eat. Well, tacos sound like cooking the meat sounds good. Frying up fajita vegetables sounds good.
I like it. I'm in. Nick's asking Denzel Washington to play Roland Denzel in Kevin Tomlinson, The Roland Denzel Story. Penned by Roland Denzel, produced by Roland Denzel. No, by Roland Denzel.
I think Denzel Washington should play Roland Denzel in the Dan Kotler movies.
He's too old.
Behind that. Is he?
He's too old now. Yeah.
Do you say how old he is in the book?
I don't say how old he is, but I think I would break the guy if I cast him in the role of Roland Denzel. Like I think he's too. I think he's getting on towards fragile old. I think. I don't know. How old is Denzel Washington? I have no idea.
I don't know. If only we had some sort of technology that would tell us this thing.
Yeah, but if I do that, now I've already done Googling.
I'm sure somebody will pipe in with the answer.
Okay, somebody out there, you go pop over to Google and find out how old Denzel Washington is.
So, Kevin, when you write these things, your books, do you like cast characters like in your head, like this person is this actress or this actor?
I did when I first started. I was writing the sci-fi stuff, but it wasn't like actors. I cast other characters in those roles. So, for example, I'd take certain Star Trek characters and I cast them in the role of so and so. So it wasn't the actors themselves. It was more how would.
I think that's more helpful, because you're using because an actor can be any sort of personality. So if you're picking an actor doing a character, then who would pick Kotler?
That's a good question, and I put a lot of thought into this, and I don't have a specific answer anymore. Because it's like if you can cast through time. I don't know, man. I just don't want to put a name on it yet. I feel like it would lock in people's vision of the character too soon. It's too soon. I don't know.
I'm torn. Like in my own books, I'm working on a urban fantasy story, and in my own, it's like I'm torn between like how much description to give and how much do I just let people use their imagination, and then it's like how little information do I give? So, like, so in my mind, my main characters have specific, again, like you, I have actors playing specific parts that I've sort of mentally put in those slots. But I don't know that I want to would want to share that.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a dream cast. I'd love to hear what other people think. Actually,
Laura
I'd
says
love to
Denzel
hear.
is not that old. He's older than me because I'm
So, who said he's not
53.
that old? Yeah,
Laura Person Smith.
yeah, he is. He is old though.
Compared to you.
I don't know. I honestly don't know how old he is. Joan says you need a younger guy because you're not done writing the character, so he needs to last. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Like you want to. So did you see that?
I want Idris Elba to play me.
Oh, that would be interesting. That'd be interesting. He
I
would
love
be a
that guy. I
great.
love that guy.
He actually would be a great Roland Denzel. He actually would. He might be kind of skirting the age line too, but he would be really good. So that's a good one. There's going to be a Robert Langdon series on NBC.
I saw. Yeah.
That's interesting. I think that's a bad move to go with NBC. If they had done like a Netflix or an HBO series or something like that, you could really stretch that. But I'm going to be watching it. Kind of looking forward to it. Thug 1 from the Primary Target movie, which now I'll have to go IMDb and see. Thanks, Nick. How about the guy who plays MacGyver to play Dan Kotler? I think he would be great. Now, original MacGyver,
Richard Dean Anderson,
or the new MacGyver that I've only seen like once because that show is awful.
There's a new MacGyver. I didn't know that.
There is. I could be biased though because I was such a fan of Richard Dean Anderson's MacGyver. Like I carry a Swiss Army knife because of MacGyver. So I don't know. I'm a little biased.
65. Denzel Washington is 65. Yeah, okay. That's a little bit.
So that puts him that's too old to play this part.
Yeah.
Nothing against 65-year-olds. He's just too old for this part because he'd break a hip or something.
The Denzel of a few years ago would have been.
Yeah. I mean, Denzel, Roland, the character Roland Denzel. He was special forces. He served in Afghanistan. He actually is probably pushing an age line himself at this point. With those credentials, but I always kind of think of these guys as being in sort of their. I think of them as being in their sort of mid to late 30s, early 40s at the most. So maybe. Susan says she's talking about the new guy. I'm going to go ahead and look him up. Maybe I should give that show a better chance. I don't want to diss on your show, Susan. Crocodile Dundee as Kotler or Cher. I can see it. That's not a medallion. No.
Can you block comments from specific people?
I can boot Nick altogether if I have to.
Do the comments just pop up on their own, or do you bring them up?
No, I'm bringing them up. Bringing them up. Nick Thacker, fellow thriller writer. Go check him out, nickthacker.com. Buy his books. And since I mentioned his website, I better do you a solid. I meant to edit out let me edit that. You don't need the HTTP garbage.
Thank you for not putting www.
Indestructibleauthor.com. Check out Roland's stuff.
The slash is optional.
The slash is optional.
You can also go to rolanddenzel.com. I got it before you did.
I was gonna do that. I thought about doing. Yeah, it's a good idea to go ahead and get these things because Nick's out there like grabbing people's domain names, man. So yeah, Nick says he'll show up as his alter ego, Ernie Dempsey. And if you didn't watch Drinks with Dempsey last Friday, where I was his first guest for that thing, we proved once and for all that he and I are not the same person. So,
one of you hired the actor.
Yeah. We need a Josh Gates interview as well. I do want to. I have reached out to Josh Gates actually, and I was kind of pushing him to get on his new show, his new talk show. But no,
have you sent him your intro video? Because like maybe that would
I need to.
boom,
Yeah,
put him over
my
the
people
edge.
have not heard from his people. So I am intrigued by this, but I think the only reason we think of guys like John Krasinski is because he's doing a thriller part right now. So I'm always wondering, like, am I being influenced by that? And like Chris Pratt would be another one I think about, but then he's about to do a part for a series based on Jack Carr's books. So, and I've interviewed Jack
So you're
Carr.
saying that he's busy, so he wouldn't be able to do your show.
They're all too busy. They'd be perfect, which is why they're already cast in other roles. So I think Chris Pratt, I always think about Chris Pratt for roles. I don't know why. I like him. I'm also a huge fan of the original MacGyver, but if you see the new shows as standalone, they're pretty good. And I should probably give that a chance. So Nick had just grabbed Nick stole your domain.com. This is a callback. Brian and I used to work on a show called Tom King's CompuTalk. Tom King encouraged me to get my name/domain. Me too, man. I think I probably have him to thank for doing that, but I was trying to get Tomlinson.com at the time, and I was able, and the guy who had it wouldn't give it up, and my girlfriend at the time sent me an email at kevin@tomlinson.com because I had .net. So she messed up, and the guy responded to her and started hitting on her. So there's that. So,
and that's how we met. That's how you and I met.
And that is how Roland and I met. Okay, this is only a 30-minute show, and we're at 31 minutes, man. So unfortunately,
the FCC is going to penalize us.
Yeah, exactly. But I enjoyed having you on, man. It's been great. It's been fun. We will do another one sometime. I'm going to get Nick back on the show too, because I did the first episode with him, and everyone just assumed it was me and him doing the show. And I think I had some fall off afterward. Like people were there for Nick and really couldn't understand why I was there. So everybody watching.
You haven't seen Nick's show, also called The Kevin Show?
When is Nick going to get his own show? So me and Ernie, you need to get one. So everybody, since we're going to wrap up, please make sure to subscribe and follow. You can go to kevintomlinson.com. I sent you to indestructibleauthor.com, but you go to rolanddenzel.com. I own dankotler.com, so don't even think about it. But I think it would be funny if we did a crossover between those two, because I wonder if people are going to go there looking for my stuff.
Interesting.
And there's nickthacker.com. All the .coms. And follow me, please. I need subscribers. I'm trying to break the 1,000 subscriber mark. I'm nowhere near at the moment. So go over to YouTube/C/Kevin Tomlinson, or I think /Kevin Tomlinson actually works. And follow me on YouTube, and make sure you are following me here on Facebook. But otherwise, pay close attention to my good friends. Give them some love and buy their books and help them out. And Roland, man, I really appreciate you sticking around with me and having a good time.
You are welcome. Thanks for having me on Taco Tuesday, no less.
Taco Tuesday. Now I got to go get some tacos. All right, everybody, we're going to end it here, and I'm about to play some outro music, etc. So enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. In theory, it's